stop right there. If you have not watched part 1 of What If Brad Keselowski Never Left Hendrick Motorsports, go back and watch that right now. See how we got to where we are right now. Don't get those spoilers. Don't skip the line. See what happened. See how close this really was to occurring in real life, and why in reality it probably should have, especially in hindsight. And that's the beauty of What Ifs. It all is. This is by far the craziest What If me and Chinry have made to this point, so be sure to go watch it through and through. Alright, you have been warned, and without further ado, let's get into part 2 of What If Brad Keselowski Never Left Hendrick Motorsports. Before that, we got to go through the 2019 season, where Brad Keselowski in the 88 now gets 2 wins at Martinsville and Kansas, along with 11 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Now, Matt DiBenedetto is in the 95. Even though they're with Chevy, I see him doing about the same as they did with the Toyota program, so just the same as IRL. Over at Penske, McMurray in the 2, his career is coming to an end. At this point, he was not even full-time in the Cup Series. He just ran that Daytona race, and he only gets 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s, a winless season, and likely the final season for him at Penske. Blaney in the 22 kind of just returns to his IRL trajectory. At this point, he had Todd Gordon as the crew chief of the race he did by next season, so just goes back to what you expect Ryan Blaney. The only difference is he's now in the 22, sponsored by Pennzoil. Over at SHR, speaking of Pennzoil, Joey Logano in the 41 gets 3 wins at Texas, Vegas, and Michigan, along with 10 top 5s, 20 top 10s, being that sturdy second driver next to Kevin Harvick. Over at Chip Ganassi, Alex Bowman in the 1 gets his first career win at Chicago, dueling his teammate Kyle Larson. Also gets 5 top 5s and 14 top 10s. Over at RCR, Kurt Busch in the 8 is still 1 win Kurt, getting that destiny win over his brother Kyle Busch at Kentucky, along with 6 top 5s and 15 top 10s. Also getting a win this year is Christopher Buescher in the 21, getting a win at Bristol. Menard got 6 in that race. I think Buescher wheels it to the victory lane. Also gets 6 top 5s and 13 top 10s. Daniel Suarez in the 47 at JTG doesn't get a top 5, but 3 top 10s on the year. And at RPM, it is still Paul Menard, so he didn't get a top 13, so he didn't get that top 10 at Bristol though, because he's now at RPM. Anyways, that doesn't matter. 2019 playoffs is what matters, and Buescher's win will get him in over Ryan Newman. Bowman and Buescher are eliminated though. Boyer will move on to the round of 12, and the round of 12 plays out the same as IRL, as does the round of 8, which means Kyle effin' Busch, KFV, still gets the championship in 2019, earning his second of his career. That leads us to the 2019-2020 offseason, where Jamie Mack retires, opening up the Blue Deuce for Chris Buescher to ride. That now has a team of Chris Buescher and Ryan Blaney. That's a nice core at Penske. Matty D gets the boot for Tyler Reddick in the 95. Ross Chastain slides into the 17 after getting screwed over by DC Solar. Remember, he actually ran some races for Ryan Newman when he got hurt early in the 2020 season. So he's on their radar, and he gets the full-time job. Wood Brothers brings up Bubba Wallace to drive the 21. Suarez will get the boot again, as JTG likes Ricky's ability to win at a super speedway. Suarez goes to Gaunt Brothers Racing, as he did in real life. And lastly, Christopher Bell makes the move to the JGR aligned 43 car as Paul Menard retires. No more hard for Menard. Which leads us to the 2020 season, and let me tell you, this offseason is about to be crazy, but let's get through the actual season itself first. At the 5, now back in the 5, I should say, Brad Keselowski gets 3 wins at Auto Club Charlotte, Bristol, also 14 top 5s along with 25 top 10s. It also has been announced that following Jimmy's retirement, Tyler Reddick will take his spot in the 48. Speaking of Tyler Reddick, in the 95, he gets 2 top 5s and 7 top 10s. At Penske, Chris Buescher in his first year in the Blue Deuce gets 2 wins at Loudon and a playoff win, along with 8 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Blaney will actually get a playoff win that was Logano's. We'll hash that out a little bit later. Bubba in the 21, his first full-time Cup Series season, gets 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s. Decent years, definitely see some growth. At Stewart-Haas Racing, Joey Logano in the 41 gets 3 wins at Vegas, Phoenix, and Kentucky, along with 9 top 5s and 15 top 10s. However, there's some controversy at the SHR camp as the 2 candidates to replace Boyer in the 14, who has announced his retirement, have caused a divide between Tony and Gene. Tony wants his man, I'm going to say Christopher, Chase Briscoe in the 14 car, whereas Gene wants his, golden boy, Cole Custer, his good friend. I believe Joe Custer's his dad's name, is his dad, and he's really big in there. There's a divide going on between Tony and Gene, and we'll see him hash it out during the off season. But until then, Alex Bowman at Chip Ganassi gets a win in the playoffs, along with 7 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Kurt Busch at RCR in the 8 gets 1 win at Texas, along with 7 top 5s and 15 top 10s. Christopher Bell in the 43 does about the same as he did at Levine Family Racing in real life this season. And then Ross Chastain in the 17, no wins on the year, but 4 top 5s, 10 top 10s, a really good season. You can see in a couple years where the 17 team could be with Chastain at the helm. Matty D will actually get to fill in for Ryan Newman as well instead of Chastain, seeing some impressive results in the limited time. That brings us to the 2020 playoff. Whew, all right, gotta take a deep breath. I have quite the Cinderella story to tell you guys about. So, Jimmy Johnson, Chris Buescher, and Eric Jones all make the playoffs, replacing Austin Dillon, who didn't get the win at Texas. His teammate Kurt Busch did. Matt DiBenedetto, who's not running at Wood Brothers, and Cole Custer, who doesn't get the Kentucky win, as he's not even in the Cup Series anymore. So, Chris Buescher will actually punch his ticket into the round of 12 with a win at Richmond. Jones will actually make it to the round of 12 with 2 top 5s in the first round. That's what he had in real life. Like, no what if to be said there. That's what happened. Johnson, Kurt Busch, Byron, and Blaney are all eliminated in the round of 16. Bowman will win at Vegas, securing his spot into the round of 8. And I promise, we changed no results at all, but with an 8th place finish at Vegas, 2nd place finish at Dega, and 3rd place finish at Charlotte, Eric Jones cruises to the round of 8, and this would have 100% happened if Cole Custer and Austin Dillon didn't get random wins. We would have had Eric Jones in the round of 8 in the 20, and we'll talk about what happens after that. Buescher's run, though, will come to an end in the round of 12, and unfortunately, Eric Jones's Cinderella story comes to a close in the round of 8, but, spoiler alert, it saves his job. Chase Elliott still wins the overall championship, and that brings us to the 2020-21 offseason. Let me take another deep breath because we have quite a bit to go over here. Let's begin. Tony Stewart and Gene Haas have an ugly breakup over Custer versus Briscoe, leading to Stewart's separation from the team. With a new kind of fire to win, Tony joins a new startup in Trackhouse Racing, maybe have heard of them, bringing his support and 2 charters, hiring Chase Briscoe to drive the 99 and Kyle Larson to field the 57 Chevrolet with Hendrick engines under the hood. Remember, Ford was the main reason stopping Tony from bringing in his good friend Kyle Larson to Stewart-Haas Racing. Well, now he's at Chevy. He wants to keep Larson in their field, and instead of going to Hendrick, who's already announced that Tyler Reddick's going to be driving the 48, they come and pick up Kyle Larson to Trackhouse, their new team, and let's just say they get started pretty quickly. Harvick doesn't like the writing on the wall and ends up moving over to Penske, who fields the number 12 machine for that of Kevin Harvick, now 3 team with Buescher, Harvick, and Blaney. Haas will buy a 3rd charter, the one that Trackhouse ended up buying to keep Almirola around with his Smithfield sponsorship, and Logano in the 41, and Custer now making the jump to the number 14 car. Like I mentioned earlier, Eric Jones's round of 8 run keeps him in the 20 for at least one more year. 23XI makes a jump onto the scene with Christopher Bell being their flagship driver in the 23. Remember, Bubba is at the 21, sees a path to maybe that 12 car eventually after Harvick retires in the Penske field. Kurt Busch has had enough of RCR and decides to eventually, as he did in real life, join Chip Ganassi Racing to drive the 42. Ryan Preece has an Xfinity Championship under his belt now and takes the helm of the 8 car for RCR. Richard Petty Motorsports is on the brink of extinction, and GMS will actually swoop in to save them a year earlier. And John Hunter Nemechek, a former GMS driver, just came off of a decent year at the 38 of Front Row. He will drive the 43 instead of going back to trucks. Tyler Reddick is officially the driver of the 48, replacing Johnson. I mentioned that a couple times. And Daniel Suarez will actually go the route of John Hunter Nemechek, going to KBM to kind of reset his career. And that is the 2020-2021 off-season. In recap, here is what the current changes in the field look like. Alex Bowman is driving the 1 for Chip Ganassi Racing. He's got a couple wins under his belt. Chris Buescher is driving the Blue Deuce at Penske. He's got a couple wins under his belt as well. Ryan Preece is in the 8 now with a couple full-time seasons in Xfinity, more experience, and really maybe the best team he's raced for. Eric Almirola is still at the 10, but now driving for Haas Factory Team instead of Stewart Haas Racing. Kevin Harvick with Busch is now driving the 12 car. Remember, Miller's no longer at Penske at this point. So, yeah, the Busch 12 driven by Kevin Harvick is a thing. Cole Custer is driving the Haas Factory 14 and is the cause for the split between Stewart and Gene Haas. Ross Chastain is wheeling the 17 car that looks to be on the up and up for Roush Fenway Racing. Eric Jones is in the 20 car. He survives after making the playoffs and a deep run at that in the playoffs last season. Bubba Wallace is in the 21 and looks to be only going up in performance. Ryan Blaney is driving the 22 on his same trajectory, but now with a longtime sponsor in Pennzoil. Christopher Bell is now driving for the newly formed 2311 Racing. He is the Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's flagship driver. Joey Logano is driving the 41 Haas Factory Ford and is very curious to see what the performance will look like next season. Kurt Busch, he's the suitcase man. He's now moved from RCR back to Chip Ganassi Racing. Now, this will be his first season in the What If at Chip Ganassi Racing, driving the 42 car. John Hunter Nemechek will be driving the 43 Petty GMS Toyota. Tyler Reddick is driving the 48 after Jimmy Johnson has just retired. And Kyle fucking Larson is at Trackhouse Racing driving the 57, his number in dirt racing. And lastly, Chase Briscoe is in the 99. Wow, what a great start for Trackhouse, but it's time to get to the 2021 season. I gotta start talking a lot faster because I got a lot of stuff to get through. Brad Kay in the number 5 gets 5 wins at Talladega, Richmond, and Vegas, along with 2 wins in the playoffs, 15 top 5s, and 24 top 10s. Tyler Reddick in the 48 gets 2 wins at Homestead and Dover, along with 7 top 5s and 20 top 10s. Chase Elliott in the 9 gets 3 extra wins at Charlotte, Kansas, and Watkins Glen, taking those from his current in real life teammate Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is over at Trackhouse though in the 57, where he gets 2 wins at Sonoma and won the playoff, along with 12 top 5s and 18 top 10s in the flagship season of Trackhouse. Briscoe in the 99 gets 1 top 5 and 4 top 10s, just like he did in real life. Chris Buescher in the 2 at Penske is winless with 10 top 5s and 18 top 10s. Kevin Harvick in the 12 gets a win at Kansas, along with 10 top 5s and 24 top 10s. Chip Ganassi in 1 of Alex Bowman gets 2 wins at Pocono and in the playoffs, 6 top 5s and 15 top 10s. His teammate Kurt Busch in the 42 gets 2 wins at Nashville and Atlanta, much the same, those 6 top 5s and 14 top 10s. At RCR, Ryan Preece in the 8 gets a top 5 along with 6 top 10s. Over at Haas Factory Team, Eric Almirola in the 10 sucks. Cole Custer in the 14 sucks. Joey Logano in the 41 gets a win at Bristol Dirt, which is 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s. Definitely very much quickens the fall off that you saw with Stewart Haas throughout this time period. Over at Roush, Ross Chastain in the 17 does the same as did IRL with 5 top 5s and 12 top 10s. Eric Jones is still at JGR in the 20 with a win at the Daytona Road Course and 10 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Christopher Bell is now the flagship driver of 2311. In the 23, he gets a win at New Hampshire, 5 top 5s and 7 top 10s. Bubba Wallace is in the 21 at Wood Brothers, gets his win at Talladega, which is the 100th win in Wood Brothers history. That's right, Bubba Wallace brought Wood Brothers their 100th win. He also has 3 top 5s and 3 top 10s on the year. And finally, at Petty GMS, John Hunter Nemechek in the 43 gets 3 top 10s on the season. That brings us to the 2021 playoffs, where Eric Jones will replace Eric Almirola, who does not have a win. Bell got that one at New Hampshire. Bell will be eliminated in the first round, running for 23-11. Logano also does not have the speed with Haas and falls short in the round of 16. Jones in the 20 and Reddick in the 48 advance. Larson will punch his ticket into the round of 8 with the win at the Roval. Reddick will take the spot left behind by Logano in the round of 8. Keselwoski will get Larson's win at Texas. Chase gets his win at Kansas. And after Bowman dumps Hamlin at Martinsville, Larson points his way into the Final Four with Trackhouse Racing, much like Chastain would later on in life. That gives us a Final Four of Kyle Larson in the Trackhouse Racing 57 in their first season, Chase Elliott in the 9, Keselowski, Brad Keselowski in the number 5, Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, and Martin Truex Jr. in the 19. And driving the number 5, Brad Keselowski, the main character of this What If, gets his second championship to his name, and it is rising the ranks of NASCAR history. In the 2021-22 offseason, Austin Cindric kicks Bubba out of the 21 because of his father, which means Bubba will land with MJ and the 45 car at 23-11. Trackhouse still buys Chip Ganassi Racing and brings on Alex Bowman as their third driver, keeping the 1. Mind you that Tony Stewart is now a part of this team, funneling them some money, and so they have a little more stability than they do in real life. Brad Keselowski is focused on winning championships, so he does not buy into a team yet. Ryan Newman will actually get another year in the 6 because Brad isn't there to push him out, and Daniel Suarez will get a promotion to Xfinity from the Truck Series. Kurt Busch also becomes the first full-time driver at Colleagues number 31. He's just kind of floating around there. That brings us to the 2022 season, where at Hendrick, Brad Keselowski in the 5 definitely has a championship hangover, getting just 1 win in the playoffs, 6 top 5s and 18 top 10s. Tyler Reddick in the 48 gets 2 wins at the Indy Road Course in Road America, along with 12 top 5s and 20 top 10s. Over at Trackhouse, Alex Bowman in his first year with the team in the 1 gets a win at Vegas, also 4 top 5s and 12 top 10s. Kyle Larson in the 57 gets 2 wins at Auto Club in Watkins Glen, also 13 top 5s and 19 top 10s. We wrote that backwards in the notes. Chase Briscoe in the 99 gets 2 wins at Phoenix and 1 in the playoffs, 6 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Chris Buescher in the 2 gets 2 wins for his name, I guess, or for his number, Sonoma, and a playoff win, and 12 top 5s, 20 top 10s, really coming to his own in the 2. Kevin Harvick in the 12 at Penske, gets a win at Richmond, gets 2 wins at Michigan, and gets a playoff win with 14 top 5s and 22 top 10s. Over at Wood Brothers, the 21 of Austin Cindric is pretty ass, but he has that Daytona 500 win. Other than that, not much far off from his performance at Penske, just a little bit. Ryan Preece in the 8 at RCR is starting to build a little something here. 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s. Over at Haas, Eric Almirola is still ass, and Cole Custer is still ass, and Logano even goes winless with his 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s to his name. Ryan Newman in the 6 over at Roush is just kind of Ryan Newman, you know. How would you expect Ryan Newman to do if he had another year under his belt at this point? Not terrible, but not great either. Ross Chastain gets a win at Dega in the 17, though, with 7 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Over at Joe Gibbs Racing, Eric Jones in the 20 gets 2 wins at Gateway and Darlington, also 13 top 5s and 21 top 10s. This is a really great year for him in RPM, or I guess it's Petty GMS at this point, so I expect him to have an even better year at JGR. Over at 23-11, Christopher Bell in the 23 gets 3 wins at Loudon, Kansas, and a playoff win, also 8 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Bubba in the 45 is kind of just back to his real-life trajectory. Yeah, he had a different bring-up, but I think Bubba's a talented driver that's going to figure it out, and he's going to do pretty well as he did in real life. He's now with that same team. Over at Petty GMS, John Hunter Nemechek in the 43 gets 2 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Kurt Busch in the 31 at Colleague, in Colleague's first year, gets a win at Darlington. He's one win Kurt. He's got to get one somewhere, right? 5 top 5s and 12 top 10s. And he also does not get concussed early in the year, so he's able to help that Colleague team build a little bit more, and doesn't have to be forced into retirement. Nobody gets concussed. We're not going to give somebody. Anyways, in the 2022 playoffs, Logano and Suarez are no longer in the playoffs, so Chris Buescher and Kurt Busch will fill those spots. Eric Jones makes it 17 winners, so no Austin Dillon final win and get in. Brad Keselowski misses the playoffs without a regular season win. Just attribute that to the championship hangover. Chris Buescher will win at Bristol, which gets him into the round of 12. Eric Jones won at Darlington, so he's safe. Those two will take Logano and Suarez's spots. Remember, they didn't make it. Reddick will outpoint Austin Cindric. Suarez doesn't wreck because he's in Xfinity. And then Kurt, Kyle, Cindric, and Chastain are all eliminated in the first round. Harvick will win at Texas. Reddick crashes, so Bowman doesn't get concussed here either. Ross will take out Larson and Bowman at the Roval, allowing Kevin Harvick and Eric Jones into the round of 8. Also, Logano and Chastain spots are open. Chris Buescher will miss thanks to 2 crashes at Texas and Dega. Kevin Harvick will punch his ticket to the desert with a win at Vegas. Brad Keselowski gets a non-playoff win at Homestead, and Christopher Bell still gets that walk-off win at Martinsville in the 23, but there is no more Hail Malin as Chastain did not have a chance of making the Final Four. This allows Denny Hamlin into the Final Four with William Byron. It doesn't mean too much though, as with that Penske Phoenix magic, Kevin Harvick, wheeling the number 12, is able to capture his much-deserved second career championship. This time, though, with Penske, which is absolutely insane. After missing the playoffs, Brad Keselowski begins looking into buying into his future portion of his career. The 2-time champion will buy a considerable amount of stock in Colleague Racing, forming BK Racing. That's right, it's back. He will drive the 16 alongside fellow veteran who drew his attention to the team, the 31 of Kurt Busch. Justin Haley and AJ Allmendinger will run part-time in the 10 car. That leaves a large void at the 5, a void filled in a full circle moment of Kyle Busch rejoining Hendrick Motorsports. Ty Gibbs will get the 54. Yeah, just act like that's just normal now. Almirola will retire, leaving Haas as a 2-car operation. With 2 extra charters and flotation, the price is considerably lower, and this allows Dale Jr. and his business partner, Jimmy Johnson, to bring Triple J Motor Club to the Cup Series, with Josh Berry driving the flagship 88, running some Hendrick engines. Johnson and Gregson will run part-time in the 4-car. This was actually something that could have happened and likely happened in an alternate universe where Dale Jr. and Johnson did talk a little bit about starting a team, but it did not get past maybe a beer on the porch or something like that. But we have it in this what if. Joey Logano is tired of being asked, so he goes to Richard Childress Racing, which is better than Haas or Haas, whatever you want to call him. This becomes a ride swap, and Priest will actually get the 41 as he did in real life. Ryan Newman announces this will be his final full-time season in the 6. He ran some part-time races for Rick Ware Racing this year, so I figured this would be a good stopping point. Daniel Suarez is ready to go back Cup racing and takes the 42 job at Legacy Motor Club. Well, it's not called that. Good job, note-taking people, which is me and Chinnery. It's actually Petty GMS, but whatever. You know what I meant. And the 2023 season, I know we got a lot to process, but we don't got time for it. Hendrick Motorsports, Kyle Busch in the 5 gets 4 wins at Talladega, Gateway, and 2 playoff wins, 15 top 5s and 24 top 10s. Tyler Reddick in the 48 gets 2 wins at COTA and 1 in the playoffs, with 10 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Over at BK Racing, the 16 of Brad Keselowski goes winless with 1 top 5 and 6 top 10s, adjusting to running in mid-tier equipment. Kurt Busch in the 31, though, gets 2 wins at the Clash and All-Star, no point wins, but 7 top 5s and 14 top 10s. You see it building there in the 31. Over at Triple J Motor Club, Jaron Jackson Jr. is what I want to say, but this is not a basketball what if. Josh Berry in the 88 gets 3 top 5s, gets that second at Richmond along with 4 top 10s, getting him on the map a little bit. Now Gregson has his incident, so Justin Allgaier will run his remaining races. Richard is nice, and Dale Jr. in surprise will actually run the Open at Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro, in the Throwback 8 Bud Chevy. This is a what if, all right? It's a what if. We can do whatever we want. Henry can write in whatever he wants. I don't remember him saying that, but he must have. Anyways, over at Penske, Chris Buescher in the 2 gets 3 wins at Richmond, Michigan, and Daytona. Also 11 top 5s and 19 top 10s. Kevin Harvick in the 12 gets 2 wins at Phoenix and Darlington, along with 14 top 5s and 20 top 10s. Over at Wood Brothers, Cindric in the 21 is slightly worse, which is saying something. Looking at Trackhouse, Alex Bowman in the 1 still has that back injury, and struggles are amplified. He goes winless, 2 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Hopefully he can build something up in the next year or two. Kyle Larson in the 57 gets 3 wins at Richmond, Darlington, and a playoff win. Also 13 top 5s and 18 top 10s. Chase Briscoe in the 99, he's starting to build something up here. Winless, but 8 top 5s and 13 top 10s. Over at RCR, Joey Logano in his first year in the 8 gets 2 wins at Auto Club in Atlanta. Also 8 top 5s and 14 top 10s. Looking at Haas, it's just all ass from here. Cole Custer and Ryan Preece are just doing what they would have done in Haas in this. Preece was already there, so yeah, just absolute ass is all I can say. Roush continue to fall off without the guidance of Brad Keselowski. It's Ryan Newman in the 6. Final season, he does all right. Ross Chastain in the 17 gets 3 top 5s and 7 top 10s, which is a regression on last season. Eric Jones in the 20 at Joe Gibbs Racing gets a win in the playoffs, 7 top 5s and 14 top 10s. Christopher Bell in the 23 gets the same as IRL. He's just got a little less consistency, and that's kind of the trajectory he's going on. Is 2311 is really just maybe a step behind Joe Gibbs Racing. So if he's got winning speed, he's going to win. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's just going to kind of be like IRL there. Finally, Petty GMS, John Hunter Nemechek in the 43 gets the top 5 and 7 top 10s, and Daniel Suarez in the 42 gets 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s. That brings us to the 2023 playoffs, where Eric Jones and Chase Briscoe point their way in. Chastain will miss. Reddick will punch his ticket to the next round with a win at Darlington. Eric Jones steals a win at Kansas. Harvick, Buescher, Jones advance. Bubba, McDowell, Ricky, and Logano all fall. Busch will win at Texas. That is a Kyle Busch win, knocking Larson out of the round of 8. Harvick doesn't get DQ'd and knocks Hamlin out of the round of 8. He got DQ'd running for Haas. That's a Haas thing, not a Penske thing. Kyle Busch will make the round of 4 with a win at his home track in Vegas, and that makes a final 4 of Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. Mind you, Kyle Busch in the 5, in the Hendrick Motorsports 5, just like he was when he came into the sport. Ryan Blaney in the 22, Christopher Bell in the 23, and William Byron just edges out at Kevin Harvick to make it to the final 4, and that is for good luck for the Hendrick Motorsports number 5, who is driven by a driver with a lot of motivation. Kyle Busch is your 2023 NASCAR championship, earning his 3rd career championship and the 2nd extra championship of this what if for Rick Hendrick. 2nd 5 championship in the past 3 years. In the 2023-24 offseason, Kevin Harvick announces his retirement from the sport as he elects to start his career with Fox. This opens up the 12 for Cindric, who doesn't deserve it, but his dad is good friends with Penske and is very high up in the organization. Ryan Newman officially retires, which gives the 6th job to Ryan Preece. Ross Chastain goes to the 21. That is a 4th Penske car, so watch out. Harrison Burton will get the 41 Haas factory. This will be his first season in the Cup Series. And coming off a championship season, Kyle Busch will get full sponsorship from none other than Busch. Because Ross isn't as prominent in the sport. After Kurt Busch retires, I almost did the Busch thing again. Justin Haley will get the 31. That's Brad's guy. Noah Gragson will get the 17 job. And that brings us to the 2024 season, where BK Racing, led by Brad Keselowski, owner, gets a win at Dover. 7 top 5s, 14 top 10s. Justin Haley in the 31 gets a win. We didn't say where. Why did we not? Oh, Darlington. We put it here. Darlington is where Justin Haley gets his win. 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s as well. He finished 9th at Darlington with Rick Ware Racing Equipment. This BK Racing team is essentially going to be like Roush, so that's just a win-win right there. Hendrick, Kyle Busch in the 5 gets a win at Michigan. 10 top 5s and 20 top 10s coming off his first championship with Hendrick, second of his career. Tyler Reddick in the 48 gets 3 wins at Dega, Vegas, and Indy. 12 top 5s and 21 top 10s. Triple J Motor Club gets their first ever win. In the 88, Josh Berry wins at Nashville, fitting for the Traveler Whiskey scheme. 6 top 5s and 10 top 10s on the year. You see him starting to build up that team. Penske, Chris Buescher in the 2 gets 3 wins again at Gateway, Vegas, and a playoff win. 15 top 5s and 23 top 10s. Cindric goes winless and is just like IRL. Blaney in the 22 gets 2 playoff wins from Logano and Reddick. Wood Brothers, Ross Chastain in the 21 gets a win at Daytona. Also 6 top 5s and 14 top 10s. He gets that win at Daytona because that 21 car was set up. That is how Burton got the win. Also, he's good at super speedways, but Wood Brothers also has a very good car. So I think Ross keeps that win for Wood Brothers. And then at Trackhouse, Alex Bowman in the 1 gets 3 wins at Chicago, and then some playoff wins, 4 wins, I can't count, but also 3 wins in the playoffs, 7 top 5s and 15 top 10s. Kyle Larson in the 57 gets 2 wins at Sonoma and the Roval. I guess that's a spoiler, that's a playoff win. 11 top 5s and 18 top 10s. Chase Briscoe, not Chris Briscoe, in the 99 gets 2 wins, breaks through at Darlington and Texas with 6 top 5s and 13 top 10s. Joey Logano in the 8 at RCR goes winless with 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Haas is still ass. That's Cole Custer and Harrison Burton out there. Roush, Ryan Preece in the 6, and Gregson in the 17 just kind of run same as IRL. Roush is kind of a shell of its former self, even more so without Keselwoski. Joe Gibbs Racing, Eric Jones, the number 20, has some back injuries that caused him to have a down season. This continues in real life. 5 top 5s and 7 top 10s. Christopher Bell, like we said, is just on that same path at the 23. Petty GMS, John Hunter Nemechek in the 43 does the same as IRL. And Daniel Suarez in the 42 gets that win at Atlanta. 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s on top of that, which leads us to the 2024 playoffs, where Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Harrison Burton all missed the playoffs. So Ross Chastain, Josh Berry, Chris Buescher get in with their wins. Kyle Busch and Justin Haley kick out MTJ and Ty Gibbs with their wins. Blaney will capitalize on a Penske day at Atlanta. Buescher punches his ticket in with a win at the Glen. Chase Elliott secures his spot with a win at the Bristol Night Race. Suarez is not in his good equipment and falls out in the first round. Josh Berry, Brad Keselowski, and Justin Haley all drop as well. Ross Chastain takes the Wood Brothers to the round of 12. I mean, that's a wheelman right there. Kansas is won by Alex Bowman. Ricky gets his Dega win. Kyle Larson still wins at the Roval. Reddick gets DQ'd at the Roval because of Hendrick being a dummy, even though he would have been perfectly fine without it. Alex Bowman in real life. That leaves a spot for Alex Bowman, though, who isn't DQ'd and has a win. Chris Buescher points his way in, taking Logano's spot. Bowman gets a win at Vegas, getting Trackhouse another ticket to the Final Four. Blaney gets the win at Homestead, but Blaney isn't as motivated at Martinsville, so Chris Buescher gets that win, giving us a Final Four of Alex Bowman. He would have made it if Hendrick was not being stupid in real life. Anyways, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. That's right, the Killer Bees in the championship. I just now realized this as I was reading the notes. We got the Killer Bees in there. And we actually brought this down to a wheel decide. So I will go ahead and cut to that footage of the wheel decide because we could not decide here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the wheel decide for the 2024 championship. Our contestants are young Ryan Blaney, Christopher Buescher, and Bowman the Showman. Let's begin. Bowman the Showman wins the first round. Is the first of 4. Oh my God, Bowman the Showman wins round 2. On to round 3. Christopher Buescher is on the board. Oh, Bowman the Showman. As I hear Chinry moving around in his chair. Bowman the Showman has 3 points. He just needs one more spin to go his
Golden
way.
Warriors moment coming right here.
And he has a 3-1 lead over Christopher Buescher for the 2024 championship. Let's spin. Young Ryan Blaney is on the board. Christopher Buescher makes it 2. That's 3 points for Bowman the Showman, 2 points for Christopher Buescher, and a point for young Ryan Blaney. Bowman the Showman by inches! By inches! Ladies and gentlemen.
Should we just say it's a side-by-side finish?
By inches! Bowman the Showman in the closest finish in Phoenix history.
At his home track.
Is your 2024 at his home track. Is your 2024 champion. Well, you heard it here first, folks. If Brad Keselowski would have stayed with Hendrick Motorsports, Alex Bowman driving for Trackhouse Racing with Tony Stewart as the co-owner and the number 1 is your 2024 champion. Now, I just want to make the point, Bowman was super hot there at the end of the season, and also Trackhouse is the only team that showed any ability to compete with Penske at Phoenix, so it's not as crazy as you think. It's not as crazy as you think. And there you go. Bowman the Showman is a NASCAR champion, which leads us to the 2024-25 offseason to wrap up this show. Haas becomes a one-car operation, cutting Burton and allowing Front Row to buy their charter and open up the 38 for Zane Smith. Burton will get a second look at Front Row in the 44. Austin Hill will take the number 8, and I'm not really sure why. Oh, wait, it's coming. Michael McDowell goes to the Spire number 7 to partner with Rodney Childers. The number 71 team, that charter goes to the Triple J Motor Club, who takes the 4 full-time for SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. Joe Gibbs brings Christopher Bell over to the 19, bringing him in-house, and Joey Logano will get his top ride shot in the 45 at 2311. Bubba will move down to the 23 flagship car. And now let's take a look at the driver lineup for 2025. If Brad Keselowski would have stayed at Hendrick, this is what the lineup would 100% look like. In the 1 car, Alex Bowman coming off a championship season, giving Trackhouse their first championship in just, their 3rd or 4th year. Chris Buescher is in the Blue Deuce. He's made some championship runs, almost got that win at Phoenix, but did not quite get it. But he could definitely win one in the next couple of years with Penske at Phoenix. Austin Dillon in the 3. Shane Van Gisbergen driving for Triple J Motorsports is driving the number 4. Kyle Busch in the 5 of Hendrick Motorsports. Ryan Preece in the 6 of Just Roush, no Keselowski. Michael McDowell is driving the number 7 car for Spire instead of 71. Austin Hill in the 8. Chase Elliott in the 9. Shocker. Denny Hamlin in the 11. Also shocker. Austin Cindric is in the 12. Cole Custer in the 14. Brad Keselowski in the 16 driving for BKR. Brad Keselowski Racing, or Brad Colleague Racing, whatever you want to call it. It's BK Racing anyways. Noah Gragson in the 17, Christopher Bell in the 19, Eric Jones in the 20, Ross Chastain in the 21, Ryan Blaney in the 22, Bubba Wallace in the 23, William Byron 24, Todd Gillen 34, Riley Herbst 35, Zane Smith 38, Daniel Suarez is driving the Petty GMS 42, John Hunter Nemechek driving the Petty GMS 43, Harrison Burton driving the Front Row 44, Joey Logano is in the 45 at 2311, Ricky Stenhouse in the 47, shocker, Tyler Reddick in the 48, Ty Gibbs in the 54, Kyle Larson is driving the 57 for Trackhouse Racing, Carson Hocevar is in the 77, Josh Berry once again driving for Triple J Motorsports, driving that 88 like it should be driven. Chase Briscoe is in the 99 at Trackhouse as well. And that is your driver lineup for 2025, and that will conclude this What If. But what a journey it has been. I hope you all did enjoy. Be sure to leave a like if you did. Comment down below right now, what if do you guys want to see next? We have in mind what we're going to do. Actually, if you're seeing this, we've probably already started working on that. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a longer one, probably the longest one definitely the longest one we have ever done. So get ready for that. In terms of long, I mean like as far back as we've ever gone into NASCAR history. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But comment down below, get us some suggestions going. Go watch some of the other what ifs, and be sure to check out the Slide Job podcast coming out each Tuesday and Saturday afternoon around 12 typically. So be sure to tune into that. And for now, this is Left Turn Central. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace.